Soil excavations. Somebody had mentioned this before. What we found is, I would think at least 3/4 of the jobs that we had impacted building waterproofing, that the adjacent soil, the soil beneath that was contaminated. Why? I think that's pretty much up for debate, whether it is a leaching issue, whether it's a flaking issue, but I can say that we've seen some pretty significant impacts to adjacent to these buildings. In the hundreds of parts per million for PCBs, and to a depth now, I think we're seeing some sites that went down to almost 3 feet, believe it or not. Typically, 1.5 foot has been the norm for us, but we did just run into a job where it went down 3 feet, which is a concern. These excavations are never really good. They're in a landscaped area, they're adjacent to the building, they're in areas where kids are probably playing, and they're always, there's some sort of irrigation or trees that you need to work around. So they are very cumbersome. They do take longer than what would be expected that if we were in a parking lot. There's complications around how you're going to put this material, where you're going to place it, how you're going to stage it, where you're going to set things up so that you don't have people that are coming in and getting in your way. What we found, roll-off containers immediately adjacent to the excavation, and then you just end up redoing the restoration as you work your way out. It's probably the easiest thing to do and makes the least amount of mess. Because at this point you're measuring certain PCB levels down to essentially 1 part per million, it doesn't take a lot for your crew to walk into an excavation and then walk out and then cross-contaminate, say, an area that you've already excavated. So the crew really needs to have an understanding about where they're walking and how they're moving material around, because when you're dealing with a 1 part per million issue, I mean, you really are talking about next to nothing. You're talking about a flake that basically blew off the building and somebody grabbed a sample in the soil and you're doing a rebuild.